Everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. And in the last video, I took some one side flat foam and the other side was rough, and I smeared it around and I hit it with lighters or a plus minor burning hand spell, and I painted it with Mod Podge and some paint. Now we're going to finish them up. And I'm probably not going to do all of them on the video, but here's what you do. You first get a soft brush that you can paint with. Something like this. It can be a little damp. This one's not really damp, but damp would probably have been better. And then I'm going to get a mid-tone brown. Maybe. I'm just going to use the back of this thing to make a little place to put my paint. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get cardboard. Alright, I don't have a lot of room to work here, so let me get some of these lids out of the way that I use for stuff, so I can push some of this back, make some space. Alright, cool. Alright, so, one of the things that I want to do is I want to have like a dead body with like grass and stuff growing out of it, but we'll get to that. Alright, so I got my cardboard up here. I don't know if you can see it, it's over there. And I'm just going to get some of this brown paint. Like I said, this is a mid-tone brown. And I'm going to half-ass paint these. I'm going to do this twice with two different browns. I'm going to do a medium and then a lighter color. If you have any white spots showing, like I do, it's because you did a bad job on your base coat. And you can go back in and just plug those if you need to. Oops, popped it right off there, didn't I? And I'm just putting a little bit on here at a time because I don't want to use up all this brown paint and get it wasted. I got my glue gun heating up. I'm going to re-glue that onto a base so I can get to it and work on it a little better. That one that I popped off. Okay. And one more. Oops, shit. There we go. Alright, so we're done with that big brush for now. And what I want to do is I want to get these ones that popped off back onto a handle so that I don't make a big bunch of glue all over me and paint all over me. Here, I got a spider web there I want to deal with. Okay. Now I want to air gun all these. So I'm just going to move them around to where I can hit them lightly with the low setting on the air gun, just to get that paint mostly dry. Paint's mostly dry. Now instead of using a big paintbrush tip For this next part, I'm going to use like a giant makeup brush from the Dollar Tree, something like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a lighter color. And I'm thinking about Territorial Beige as my lighter color. And I'm just going to mix it with that paint I have up there. And I'm not sweating it. I'm just going to make, there we go, something like that. That's a little too light, so I'm just going to get a little more of that medium brown back on there. And darken that up a teeny bit. There we go. Something like that. And then I'm setting that cardboard off to the side, and I'm getting a rag, just like a cloth, and I'm going to wipe a lot of that paint off the brush and then come back. And notice I'm not putting a lot of effort into this. I'm just kind of creating some variation. I just don't want straight lines. I want, you know, kind of. Okay. A little bit of variation goes a long way. And it's going to help this dry a little faster if you're hitting this like this. Because what's going to happen is the wetter spots we left behind will get fixed up. I'm going to leave this brush out. I'm not putting this in my water. I'm going to want that again. Let's take a look at what we have here and use a little bit of hot air. Okay, now I'm going to get a piece of cardboard. And drag this down this way. And I'm going to get some light to medium gray. This is called elephant gray when I find it. And I'm going to mix that in with the brown I already have in the brush. I'm going to make sure I get it mixed in pretty good, so I have a tannish gray color like that. Okay. I really want to focus on creating a gross kind of mire looking okay. I think I already hit that one. Oh well. Okay. Now, once you got something like that, you can get rid of that brush. We're not going to need that again. And you can pull these off too. You don't need these anymore. You just want to make sure you don't leave a big section of glue on there. Now, I would save these because they're going to be useful in the future for other projects. Just make sure you take your glue off the bottoms so these sit flush on your table. One of the little dooms is painting miniatures in the other room. I might need to sneak off for just a second to peek in on him if nobody cares. Just to make sure he's not having any drama. Alright, so we have some good bases here to use on our swamp. These are all different sizes and we can do different things with them. But what I want to do first is I want to create kind of a generic greenery that's on these. And to do that, I'm not going to use a good flock. I'm going to use a crappy brush. and I'm going to use dillweed. And that smells nice too. So what I want to do is I want to get on here in some spots. You don't want to go all the way down to the edge like I did there. That's a mistake. I'll tell you why. Because the ground would be so saturated that it'll be more up on the higher spots that you'll see it. And you don't want to cover these whole things in it, you know. That's a mistake too. You don't need a whole bunch. Of glue. So now that I have that, I'm just going to get my dillweed. I'm going to sprinkle it where there's glue. And I don't care if I cover every square inch. You could do this on a plate to save your dillweed, but I got this for 97 cents at Ollie's. And I don't mind buying another one if I need one. Okay. Shake off my excess, which, like I said, you could do this on a plate or something and save that. I chose not to, but that doesn't mean I was right. That just means that's what I did. Now we could use more herbs or flock or anything else to create some more green on here, but before I do that, I'm going to save my little board down here and pull that out. All right, let's do some different foliage. So the best thing to use for this kind of stuff is whatever you have that's cheap. So this is cheap. I can use some of this. And this attaches real easy with some hot glue. Watch this. Get a clump of this, squeeze it into a ball, put it where you want it on the base, get a dab of hot glue there, shove it down into the hot glue, and then let it kind of pop back out as it wants to over time. And you can easily make different bushes and stuff with this. You don't want to use all one color. I have 3 different colors. They sell about 20 different colors. But just use it sparingly where you feel like it's going to add something to that base that you're working on. Damn, excuse my French. Now I have some pretty big seams where I glued 2 pieces together that I don't like. So I'm going to attempt to use some of this to cover some of that up. Alright, so there's my first color I used. I'll go for my second color. This is like a lighter green. I like this color too. This would be good for swamp color. I'm going to get some of this. Let me get some up here because, like I said, I want to cover that up really well. I'm going to shove that down on there. And I'm going to try to get some of these spider webs off because I'm really bad about being sloppy with glue. Okay. Now, I have that one smaller piece set off to the side because that's the one I'm going to use. I'm going to put that plant, like a person that's like covered in moss on that one. I'm going to get one more glob of this and use it over here on this big piece. Now, because I didn't paint the bottoms of these because I'm lazy, I can't put a clear coat over this or I'll melt them. But if you wanted to paint the bottoms of these, you could easily clear coat these and have no drama. Now I'm going to get a darker foliage, same kind of crap like that, what we just had. This is just Spanish moss is all this is. And I think it's synthetic too. I don't think it's the real stuff. But oh, great. Ninja. Here we go. Something like that. And you can do as much as this as you want, or as little as you want. Okay. And like I said, I'm just that's just what I want to do. I'm going to do one more of this big piece here. It's real chunky and nice. I want to use that. So I'm going to put it up here. Nice. All right, this should be sturdy and stuck in place. All right, so the next thing you do is, this is like floral moss that you get at like the Dollar Tree in a baggie. And I'm not going to use any of this, I don't think, but you could easily use this if you wanted to create some stuff. Also, if you buy those little plant balls at like Michael's and Hobby Lobby and stuff and pull those apart, this is what you get when you pull those apart. So see, those little plant balls are just little pieces. You could use one of these. I mean, I don't really need to, but let's see. Get one of those and put it on alongside that bush and put it in there. Get rid of my spider web. So this is a really easy kind of deal, but you're not done. All right, so you're gonna have to do something else here. These are gonna take time to dry, and we're gonna do something with them real quick before that happens. So get yourself a shot glass. Now you can wash these out. You don't have to, but you can. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a little bit of my dirty paint water. That's probably too much. A little bit like that. And I'm gonna get English Ivy green. I really like this color a lot. And I'm gonna put a good bit of that in there. And I'm going to get a brush that has kind of a soft tip that I can play with. And I'm going to mix that up. Okay. And I'm going to bring it around and dab it. And I'm going to use it to fill in holes and cracks or spots that I'm not happy with how they look. I'm just going to drag that around and let that air dry. And it's going to be a little like a wash, you know, so it's going to be a little darker in some spots. And a little lighter in others as it goes. And it's going to use some of the natural paint job underneath it as it dries. Some of that will show out and it'll become, you know, just aesthetically pleasing. Okay. And we can do that as much or as little as we want on these and bring some more color to them to an extent. And at the same time, lighten them up some so they're not so muted and monochromatic. Make them a little more interesting. I would advise that you don't go overboard with this or you'll take away from everything you've done, which is your model, and you can do that if you so wish. And you can bring this right up to the edges of your whatever this stuff is, you know, the Spanish moss. Okay, something like that. And I see I have a little bit of white showing right there. I'm just going to cover that up, drip it in those holes, and it'll dry green. All right, so something like that. This was a really easy way to make a lot of scatter that we can put a ton of miniatures on and represent land mass in our swamp. Now we have that one little piece set off to the side. I'm going to take these, and I'm going to put these up on the thing to dry so they can eventually make their way upstairs to the game room. One of my doggies is whining. The other one's not feeling well. He's sick boy. Okay, those will dry, and that clear glue will dry a little shiny. And I could clear coat those, but again, I told you I didn't paint the bottoms, so they'll melt. So that's what we got going there for our bases so far. And I'm setting those up in front of the fan, and let's get this piece. This is the one. You're going to get a metal surface or something you can do this on. I use a knife, and you're going to I'm going to get another glue stick. What you want to do is you want to try to make a body that's laying down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little dot for where the head is. I'm going to make the body. Okay. Something like that, and I'm going to let it cool. It's starting to cool. Okay. You should be able to pull that off there pretty easy. And you're going to have some little weird long pointy parts that you don't want. Some spider webs and stuff. Just rip that off. Okay. And then look at that now, it's like a body. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to get that body with a little bit of glue so it connects and stays on a flat spot. Okay. Something like that. Then I want to get, you're going to need a brush or something that you don't mind throwing away. So for me, I'm using a toothpick, but you use whatever you want. And you're going to need a piece of cardboard or something. I'm just using a piece of a super glue thing. But I'm going to get some super glue when I find it on here. Uh-oh. Ah, my hands aren't working in this cold. Open a new one. Having a plastic bin next to your workspace that you can keep your pieces of stuff you rip up or tear up, cardboard and plastic and foam and stuff is good because it gives you some work room to if you need to grab it, it's not in your way. You can reach over and pick through it. And when it gets kind of full, either put the stuff away into the appropriate place where you keep that kind of refuse or toss it or whatever you do, you know. All right, so once we have that coated, we want to get some baking soda and just a little bit. Okay. And that's going to get a little bit of texture on him and make him sturdy. And it helped me find a piece of spider web I didn't want to deal with. There we go. A little bit of spider web. I'm going to do something really dumb here. You wouldn't probably want to do this. There we go. Let's get rid of spider webs. I hate them. Tricksy little spider webs. All right. I don't want to get this on anything, so I'm going to set this off to the side. This cardboard's still good. Use it for something else. So I want to get that green paint that we made with that long brush. And the first thing I want to do is I want to get that body and I want to paint with a dark green of something that's not going to dark green. English ivy green. I'm looking for something super dark like arbor green, but I can't seem to find it. Arbor. Damn you, Chris. I can't see in this lighting. Just give me a second while I find arbor green. Shit, I can't find it. Alright, we're just going to use this color. Wait, is that it? Nope. I might have put it away in the wrong spot and that's why I can't find it. So with that soft brush that I used earlier to smear that green around, I really want that arbor green. It's super dark and good looking. I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to paint this guy with that. And I'm going to paint around him on the ground a little bit. So he's like in the ground some. And he's like super fertilizer for this swamp. I don't know why I'm doing this. It was just an idea I had. I think I'm going to have some mobs based off of this concept is why I kind of did this. I'm going to get a dark to medium brown. And I'm going to come around and muddy this area up a little bit. And what I'm doing is just kind of dabbing that around where the green is. And trying to show this ground's saturated. Okay, and you probably could have done this better with a wash once that was dry. But I have to hurry because we're doing this in like a non-edited video format here. I'm just going to put a couple dabs of brown on him too. Okay, let's hit him with the air gun. Alright, something like that. And let's get a little bit of that clear glue that we were using earlier. I don't know where I put that. There it is. Let's get a little bit of clear glue down here. Having trouble getting some clear glue. There we go. Let me use that small brush. I'm going to get some of that clear glue. And I'm going to paint some of the higher up areas on him. With that clear glue. And I'm going to do a couple spots around, coming off of him in different directions. And then I'm going to hit that with some flock. This flock is dark green and very rich. Now remember I was showing you those little vines earlier? Well, I have plans for those now. What I'd like to do is find some pieces and make them kind of growing out of him. So to do that, I'm going to cut off, rip off, I should say, little tip pieces. I'm going to get my glue. I'm going to paint it onto that. And I'm going to use a toothpick and shove it back underneath there. So it kind of stays. Then I'm going to come down here. I'm going to saturate this with a little bit of wet glue. Like this. See if I can get that wet enough that it'll lay down. I don't know if I can. And I pulled it out on that side. But that's okay. We're going to let that sit like that. Let's get one more little piece like that. I just want you to get the impression that this is vibrant and alive where I've had this. Okay. Like this dude is sustaining this in some kind of important way. Like he's making life in the swamp here where he rots. I'm going to move this around a little bit though. Get that kind of up on here better. And we'll let that dry like that with that sticking up. Now, last step. We have our green here. And we're going to use some of that. There we go. Now, if you really want to sell it gets squishier as you go towards the edges, you can get like a super dark brown wash and just dab it around the edge of all of these. But I'd have to come back later and do that after these dry. And I'm not about that life. So this is what that could look like. So here's the originals, the first ones that we did. And you can get as creative with these as you want. These are going to be good. And like I said, you could use these to supplement other types of boards, just to add elevations or rough terrain or anything you needed to in a jungle or a forest or a deadlands or anything. So, these are kind of multi-purpose, though my intent for today was just to make these to have platforms to walk around on my swamp. So thanks for watching. I hope you had a nice time. I did. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel, please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon. Leave a comment. You know, the happy crappy that gets the channel growing. Do that crap. Also, come to the website and buy some minis. There's a discount code. It'll be in the description today or at some point. And come to our Discord and hang out and see what we're up to there. Thank you so much, and have a great day.